Cristiano Ronaldo once dropped a bombshell prediction. Michael Carrick had the makings of a world-class manager. Back then, it just sounded like polite chatter between old friends. But fast forward to the present, and it looks like the Portuguese icon saw a future the rest of us were blind to. Is greater than Mainoo spins around the bend, finding space. He fires the delivery into the danger zone, hunting for a finish. Bruno Fernandes, the Red Devils double their lead. That marks his 6th strike of the Premier League campaign. Nudged past the keeper, and pure power, Captain Fantastic delivers the goods once more. Is greater than, from the second he took the reins as interim boss. Carrick hasn't just sparked a change, he's ignited a revolution. Is greater than. You watch a display like that, and you have to say, look, if this man can construct a squad like this, hand him the contract. Why even bother searching for anyone else? People always chase the shiny new toy, saying, oh, that manager looks great abroad. But guess what? Stick with what is working right in front of you. The entire atmosphere at the club has done a complete 180. My buddies who support United are finally crawling out of hiding, wearing their shirts with pride again. It is all down to the scoreboard, victory after victory, including dismantling the 2 absolute giants of English football. Extracting that level of fight and quality in such a blink and you miss it time frame is unheard of. Is greater than. The turnaround is nothing short of magnificent. It comes down to communication, reminding these players what that badge on their chest actually represents. They smashed City in the derby and then marched into the fortress of the set-piece masters and took all 3 points. Is greater than. It is about the style of the victory. If they scraped a lucky 1-0 win, I might be skeptical. But they created 5 or 6 stone-cold chances. The back line was solid, and the whole squad moved like a well-oiled machine. Is greater than. 2 colossal triumphs. And suddenly, an old prophecy is trending again. We are talking about Cristiano's verdict. This statement dates back to December of 2021, right when Carrick first stepped into the hot seat as a caretaker. Ronaldo claimed the sky was the limit for Carrick, dubbing him a manager in the making. Ironically, during that initial stint, he also took down the Gunners. Sure, that Arsenal side was fragile compared to now, but it is hilarious how the scriptwriter keeps reusing the same plot lines. I swear, this sport is rigged for drama. Back then, the Englishman only had a trilogy of matches to prove himself. He faced Arsenal, Chelsea, and Villarreal against all odds. He stayed unbeaten and snatched a victory against the North Londoners. Is greater than. Trouble brewing for the opposition. Fred steps up at long last. United find the breakthrough. It is Rashford hunting for Ronaldo. Oh, that is simpler than a Sunday morning stroll past Ramsdale. Another spot kick given. Is greater than. He secured a stalemate at Stamford Bridge. Is greater than. Sends the keeper the wrong direction. Manchester United take the advantage. Is greater than. And he conquered Villarreal on foreign soil. Is greater than robbing the ball high up. Ronaldo with the delicate lift. The King of Spain returns to his throne. Ronaldo celebrates. Now Jadon Sancho finally stamps his authority in red. He hammers it into the net. Is greater than. You have to admit, that was spectacular. People slept on it back then, but for a rookie boss with 0 miles on the clock to secure those W's, that is top-tier management, especially when you factor in the absolute circus surrounding the club in that era. But today, Carrick isn't a secret anymore. His name is on everyone's lips. The world is watching United again. And Cristiano's forecast, absolutely dead center. Never forget, Carrick actually had the guts to drop Ronaldo to the bench. Despite that, the superstar maintained immense admiration for his gaffer. Is greater than. You have named Cristiano amongst the reserves today. Walk us through that logic. Is greater than, well, just rotating the squad after the last match, bringing some fresh legs in. You see Anthony and Donny getting the nod too. Obviously, leaving Cristiano out grabs the headlines. But it really comes down to tactical adjustments for this specific opponent. I sat down with him and we talked it through. He was fantastic about it, honestly. And we agreed this was the best approach for today. Can't wait for kickoff. è maggiore di. So, it is a call significant enough to warrant a private sit-down. Is greater than is greater than. Look, it is just selecting the starting 11, plain and simple. I don't think we need to manufacture a soap opera out of it. The reason CR7's take hits different is because Carrick belongs to an exclusive club guys who battled alongside him and then managed him. Spanning that timeline is mind-blowing. Michael, you are unique in that you have shared a pitch with him and then stood on the touchline instructing him. Is greater than. The electricity in the building when he returned was off the charts. The atmosphere surrounding those matches was surreal. Just having him walk through those doors again, seeing an old friend back at the training ground was strange initially, but I had to switch to my manager mindset immediately. I had to be careful. You cannot handle a legend the same way you coach a rookie who needs constant guidance and development. Look, he is at that stage where his legacy is set in stone. You know, you have to respect who he is. We offer a few strategic nudges for the squad, but let's be real, you aren't going. To lecture a legend like that on his runs or teach him how to put the ball in the net is greater than Carrick stood shoulder to shoulder with CR7 during the absolute golden era of Manchester United's history. They simply get it. They know exactly what victory feels like at Old Trafford, what that roar sounds like. Carrick lived through those glory years under Sir Alex Ferguson and swept up basically every trophy in existence. Critics might mock the idea of United DNA, but when a giant is stumbling, having a guide who remembers the summit really matters. Because long before the sharp suits in the dugout, Carrick was the puppet master pulling the strings in the center of the park. He was never a showman. His entire game was built on pure intellect, ice-cold calmness, and total command. United poached him from Spurs in 2006, handing him the impossible task of filling the void left by Roy Keane. For 12 campaigns, Carrick served as the beating heart of the Red Devils midfield on match days. You probably missed him. Your eyes were glued to Rooney, Ronaldo, Berbatov, or Van Persie. But behind those superstars, Carrick was the glue holding the entire operation together. His distribution was absolutely surgical. His positioning was flawless and under fire. He never cracked. He was either completely unbothered or operating on a higher plane of existence. I can't tell which, but he was one of the most pressure-proof athletes I have ever seen. Basically, the English Sergio Busquets. With him, United felt stable and dominant, a stark contrast to the panic that sets in whenever Ugarte steps onto the pitch. Is greater than. Do we get style points for who looks the coolest taking throw-ins too? Because that was tragic. Anyway, with Carrick anchoring the pivot, the silverware flowed, 5 Premier League crowns, a Champions League in 2008, Europa in 2017, plus the domestic cups. The man completed football. He was criminally undervalued in his prime. If he played today, critics would whine about his lack of goal contributions. But the real ball knowers understood his worth. Sir Alex Ferguson labeled him the finest central midfielder in the English game. And honestly, I agree. He read the play like he had the script beforehand. He knew exactly when to kill the tempo and when to ignite it. Partnered with Paul Scholes, they formed a duo built on sheer genius. Fans obsess over the physicality of the Premier League. Yet these two ran the show for years without relying on muscle or speed. By the time he retired in 2018, Carrick had logged 464 caps and secured his legend status. He even wore the armband in his final season. A testament to the immense authority he commanded in that locker room. That illustrious playing career laid the bedrock for who Carrick is as a manager today. It is the secret sauce making him such an effective interim boss for United right this second. Now, once the final whistle blew on his playing days, he didn't hesitate. He swapped the kit for the clipboard immediately. He cut his teeth on Mourinho's staff and stuck around to support Ole. Shifting from pitch to sideline was seamless because he was effectively a coach in boots. Organizing and analyzing in real time, it is pretty straightforward. Honestly, if you mastered the holding midfield role, your odds of becoming a top-tier tactician skyrocket. Those assistant years were his masterclass. He wasn't pulling strings with passes anymore. Instead, he was mastering man management, game prep, and handling the suffocating pressure of the touchline. His mentors were polar opposites. Mourinho schooled him in the dark arts. Ole demonstrated the vital importance of unifying the squad, a perfect yin and yang education for a budding manager's development. That explains why the squad praises him so lavishly. Despite his relatively brief stint at the helm, is greater than. This is the sport. The landscape shifts rapidly from one match to the next. So I believe Michael arrived with the perfect philosophy, handing players ownership while granting the freedom to make crucial decisions on the fly. He is incredibly articulate with his delivery. I think he still recalls what I told him during his previous final match in charge. I was convinced Michael would evolve into a phenomenal boss, and he is proving that now. We just hope to support his vision even more. It shows everyone that we aren't just talented individuals. That is why we are at United, but the coaching staff is elite too. Is greater than, I mean, look at Casemiro. He was practically tackling him with a bear hug at one point.